Round 2 of the challenge, we are against Mordekaiser, which I knew that they play a lot of 4-color, like different versions, because they are streaming it. They're a cool guy. Uh, I opened this hand, and I think that like this is the hand we can ask for. Like Ragavan, even on the draw, is pretty good. We're hoping to fade the Renan 6. We saw that they mulligan to 6, even to 5. So now I'm looking at. They kept the 5. They start with a land. So we have a big decision point on turn 1. Let's see what we draw. Yeah, like 2 lands, 2 bolts, 2 creatures, 2 card advantage spells. We can play Ragavan on turn 1, and we could play Dragon's Rage Channeler. Ragavan has a bigger upside, because if they won't have the Renan 6, they have to kill it, because giving mana, giving free spells is pretty good, and we can cast a lot of spells from their deck actually. Dragon's Rage Channeler is another option. It's okay, but it's much better in the later stages, like later stages on turn 3, for example, when we have Delirium, because it's harder to deal. I decided to go for Ragavan, like the risk, like the higher risk, higher reward play, and still don't know what was the correct line. Like maybe the correct line was to play nothing, but I think we have to put a pressure on them. We have to try to kill them, try to force them just to have it. We see Prismatic Ending, that's okay. We can play Dragon's Rage Channeler, we can play Fetch, could have played like Sacred Foundry tapped, but we still can have like Lightning Bolt just to play it as a Lava Spike and a Surveil. We see that they cast Abundant Growth, but they missed the land drop, which is like pretty good news for us. Right now we knew the hand had to be stacked, because like what would be the reason to keep a one lander in such a like mana hungry deck? We drew another land, which is not the greatest. We start with Reckless Impulse because like we have a chance to flip the Dragon's Rage Channeler with already land in the graveyard. Reckless Impulse, if we can, for example, find like bind the creature and find a fetch land. Not find a fetch land because we already have a, but with the bolt, this could be good. We find a Prismatic Ending, which is not the greatest in the matchup, but considering our situation right now, we can deal with Abundant Growth. So we decided we play Sacred Foundry over Sandbake Canyon, and that's because like Sandbake Canyon would deal this 2 damage to us, and we might as well just to play it untapped, because like most likely we would break even on damage it would deal, but we get one extra untapped land in this combination, because if we would play Sunbake Canyon, take 1, and if you want to play like untapped Sacred Foundry, that's 3 damage, and that's only 2, so that's 1 less damage. Like the single damage in this matchup doesn't matter that much, but this is a good habit to have, because in some matchups where life total matters, it could really, really matter. We just attack with DRC. We saw we are looking if they are finding a land. They did. So that's not the best for us, because right now they can play Renan 6, Uh, we could lava dart them to find delirium. That maybe that was the play, but I didn't do that. We have 3 bolts, which can go straight to the face because we have like 10 damage. So we are looking just to deal them like the few damage to finish them off. I decided to bolt the Renan 6 because if I would find the fourth bolt, I think I wouldn't do that. But because I found the 2 creatures, one of which is Ragavan, and we can dash it next turn because Soul Scar is better to cast right now because it doesn't have haste and Ragavan can. We don't want to give them more lands, and on 2 lands they are not casting a lot of spells. As you will see, like, they conceded, I think that's quite early concession, but we could deal them a lot of damage because it's 1, 2, 3, bolt deals 4, so that's 6, that's 10, that's 12. So this could have been lethal. We won't know. We punished our opponent for keeping like the greedy hand, and this is what like the red decks are good at. And that was game 1. Let's see what will happen in another games. Game 2 of round 2. We are on the draw. We sided out 2 prismatic endings, and we sided in 2 path to exiles because we want to have like more answers to resolve Omnath, which can of course backfire because like path is not the greatest otherwise, because like most of their threats often are just can be dealt with lightning bolts or even lava dart with flashback. We open this hand, and we are not yet decided what we are gonna do on turn 1. And this time I decided to cast Dragon's Ray Channeler again. Like, this is pretty close what we are going to do, because like as you can see, like they played Renan 6 on turn 2 and killed our Dragon's Ray Channeler, which is pretty strong against us. And this turn we have like decisions if we want to cast 2 creatures, which is quite bad because they can just deal with it. We can cast Bolt and Soul Scar, which is the line I think I took because it's like the natural one. The bad thing is that they are ahead on card on this exchange because they traded Dragon's Ray Channeler and Lightning Bolt for just Renan 6. They played the 3rd land, they played Teferi, they bounced our... And again, we darted the Teferi. Again, they are ahead on cards on this exchange, but we can't really do a lot about it. We have to deal with this Teferi because like playing only on sorcery speed is pretty painful, especially against their like ephemerate shenanigans. Now we saw that they play Utopia Sprawl, which can help us in possible game 3 sideboarding because we know that they have like more than 4 1 mana enchantments, which Prismatic Ending is pretty good against. They cast Spreading Seas, which is bummer, but we can deal with that. We thought a bit about the decision, what we can do. We could dash Ragavan and like play Light Up, but I decided to play Reckless Impulse, which was maybe greedy play because we really have to find land. Fortunately, we did. We have 3 types. instant sorcery. No, we have 4 types. So that's pretty good because we can play Dragon's Rage Channeler and like play around Fury because we have 5 toughness on board and Renan 6 is not doing anything, but unfortunately they play Solitude, which is a card I think at that point we couldn't really play around because like if you would keep this path, we'd have only Soulscar Mage, and in games like that, like we have to play aggressive, try to be aggressive, and even at the cost that sometimes we will lose. They cast another Utopia Sprawl. They cast Wandering Mind, which is okay. They found Ephemerate. So we have to play around it as much as we can. That's hard because we are maybe right now up on cards, but we are pretty much on the back foot as for the board state. We didn't find a 4th land, which is pretty bad. So I decided to path to exile the Solitude because it's like a walking removal spell, so we had to deal with it, and this path would be like expired at the end of the turn. They did. We F6'd, which was a mistake because we could have kept the Lava Dart and just deal with the Wandering Mind. They would, of course, have us only 2 lands, which is pretty low considering that we have like 2 colored spells revealed. But considering that they have only 1 card, we could fight it, I think. And they found another Spreading Seas, and they did it again, and we still didn't dart it. So yeah, I think that not doing it as early as possible was a mistake. Right now, I think that it's a bit too late to do that because, like, of course, we can fizzle the Ephemerate, which is good, but we know that they have Spreading Seas and they have yeah, and then have like Windswept Heath, Ephemerate, Windswept Heath and Spreading Seas in hand, but yeah, as you can see, they play Spreading Seas, we have no colored mana, and they play extra Abundant Grove because they are pretty high life total, and they put the Yorion in hand. I drew, and I decided to concede because like even if I would draw perfectly, right now we are losing to like the 4/5 flying creature that draws a card, and even if they won't draw anything, they are still in like commanding position, and we are losing those 2 cards. Those small creatures are not dealing any damage anytime soon, so that was a good time to concede, I think. Round 2, game 3. Now we are on the play. I decided to swap a bit. I sided out 1 light up the stage, which is I think something I'm doing pretty commonly in this deck, so that may be the reason to just cut this light up the stage. I put in extra Prismatic Ending to deal with his enchantment mana. We open this hand, and while it has 4 lands, it has like a lot of potential because it has like 2 good creatures. I decided to cast Dragon's Rage Channeler because as you can see, there's a possibility I won't have a lot to do with my mana on the next turn, so we can just dash the Ragavan if we can. They played Rogrin Triumph. Yeah, I decided to dash Ragavan because like we don't want to make his Renin 6 as good, and we want to gain extra treasure. We see what they do, and again they kept a one lander. I even wrote to them that you are such a greedy person, but after a few turns they wrote us what they had in hand, so I think that justifies them a bit. We found another Sacred Foundry. We dash Ragavan because like we have enough mana to like tax our mana to play it each turn for 2 mana. That's kind of funny. I exiled 2 lands with our monkey, which I really in need of. So that's quite funny. Not for our opponent, of course. And right now they played Fury. So this is a decision point because they are dealing 3 damage to Monastery Swift Spear, 1 damage to Dragon's Rage Channeler. We could cast Dart, like move Monastery Swift Spear out of like this 3 damage range. But the Ephemerate is pretty obvious at this point. But I decided to do it anyways. I found Path to Exile, which is not the card I need, because I don't want to give them lands at this point. I flashback the Lava Dart, and I saw the Bolt. And the Bolt is perfectly fine. It's a great card to have. If they have Ephemerate, we can kill the Fury. If they don't have Ephemerate, that's still like 3 damage, and they are at pretty low life total at this point. They did Ephemerate. We drew a Bolt. The situation is not doing that good. Like, it's not that good as last turn. But we Bolt. We dashed the Ragavan. And we revealed Spreading Seas. That's kind of funny. We of course cast it because like it's a cantrip. It costs us those 2 treasures, but it really makes their mana pretty awkward at this point. They can't rebound really. They still didn't draw a land. At this point, we could have like dashed Ragavan, Pledge Soulscar, and pass, and next turn cast Impulse. I decided to do that on this turn. I don't know if this is correct. It's like pretty close, I would say, but it's okay. We cast Soulscar. They found the land. Good part is they can't really cast Renin 6, no matter what they will find. They find Utopia. I decided to dash Monkey right now and attack them because we can cast Impulse like with this mana. We excite Wandering Mind, which can't really cast. I cast Reckless Impulse. We would be happy to draw land. We didn't. So I decided that like this extra draw is worth more than 1 damage, because most likely we are killing them anyways. This 1 damage doesn't matter, but the extra draw is worth more than it. They drew a land. They played Eternal Witness. They returned the Fury, which is okay for us. They cast Fury. It's okay. It's like just 2 for 1. They played the land we knew about. Okay, so like maybe I put it too fast, but I decided to bolt them because like every burn spell we have, like every bolt, every lava dart is lethal at this point. So I decided to do that, and Even though I didn't find it, opponent decided to scoop. I was pretty happy. I didn't play this match perfectly again, but it was good enough. We are 2-0 in the challenge, so let's go to the match 3.